All right. Hello. How's it going? It's been a hot sec, but it's always a pleasure.
Oh,
Yeah.
so great.
It, it's been just a wee bit.
A wee bit,
It's,
a wee
it's
bit.
been some time.
But whenever I do talk to you guys, I am always very pleased. Why don't we do some quick intros before we jump in?
Sure.
Why don't we start with you, Julia?
Cool. I'm Julie LePetit. I guess I'm the Drawfee manager now. I'm one of the hosts on Drawfee, and yeah, I would call myself the Drawfee manager.
Cool, cool.
And I'm the former head illustrator of now defunct Drawfee. I mean, not Drawfee, Dorkly. Drawfee's still
wait,
here.
is there bad news?
We're
all of a
announcing
sudden?
that the channel is gone.
Oh, well.
No, we're still going strong. We're still going strong.
Yeah.
Really
and
good.
Nathan.
I'm Nathan YAFFE, and I am one of the founders of Drawfee, and I'm a host, and that's what I do.
And just so we're clear, Drawfee is still alive.
As far as
yeah.
I know, yeah.
Okay, got it. Cool.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know Drawfee, I love Drawfee's shit. They're always. I always am amazed at how well and how funny you guys can draw things on the spot.
Oh,
like,
thank you.
It is wild to me. So for those of you who aren't familiar, actually, why don't you one of you give just like the quick elevator pitch to Drawfee?
It's where we take your dumb ideas and make even dumber drawings. It's an improvised comedy drawing YouTube show. We also stream on Twitch. And you've been a guest on it a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
You guested on our Bad JRPG series that we did. You also were in Julia's mini-series, The Fear of Painting, where you really wanted to...
I think that's a very underrated video. I really enjoyed that.
It's such a treat. That was such a crazy one to shoot, because you were like just off of a flight.
Yes,
You were
that's right.
You took like a big nap between shooting that, and then we had a live show to do as well. That you can also watch the video of that. And that was the first time we'd ever met in person.
Yeah, in person, yes. And then later we did Draga, right?
Yeah, you played Al Piss.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And and I like every time I get to do stuff with you guys, first off, it's so much fun, but then it's like no joke, like I can't believe how good you guys are. Oh, we also did this wasn't Drawfee necessarily, but Cartoon Hell with you.
Yes,
Nathan.
yeah, you were a guest on Cartoon Hell as well,
which was also a lot of fun. So yeah, go check Drawfee out. But enough about that. Let's talk about what have you guys been up to outside of Drawfee. Any like if you have free time, what have you been doing to occupy your time lately?
Ooh, that's a good one. I just got a bike. I've been biking.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm very out of shape from, go figure, a year inside.
Same.
Yeah. I tried to bike so I live near Prospect Park, and I tried to bike to
Oh, what's that?
it's Nathan, is it happening?
Is it happening?
Oh, Nathan's already left. I heard the frantic scramble out. Nathan didn't care about my bicycling story.
I'm so sorry.
He's like, I'm leaving.
Nathan was like, "Oh God, bicycles! I'm out."
I'm
Enough.
out
saved
here.
by the buzzer. Thank God I don't have to pretend to care about Julia biking through the park.
Before we were recording, Nathan very politely informed us that he would have to buzz someone in and so we were aware, and that we're still gonna make fun of it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna leave this in.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
Yeah, okay, like we said before, it humanizes you. You're not just a content machine on the internet.
Yeah.
Well, even you can buzz people in to your home.
I have a roommate who's my partner, and she was coming home, and now she's here.
What,
and
you
it's
mean
great.
you don't have a doorman? You don't have the YouTuber assigned doorman? Once you get
I'm
over
the
like a certain
doorman.
amount of subscribers, I thought they were supposed to provide us with one. But oof.
Yeah, I got 2. Do you guys not have doorman?
They offered me a doorman, and I said no. I will be the doorman.
Wow.
Too good for doorman.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, taking away jobs.
Anyway,
from
back
the
to Julia's
people.
really, really boring bicycle story that you just hated.
So I was on my bike. I was biking to the bridge, but it turns out my bike was broken the entire time.
Oh shit!
Wait, really?
Yeah. So I biked 2 miles with my brakes on the entire time.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I got halfway through the ride, and I'm looking at Jacob, and it's like, basically like a 90s like upbeat part of a movie, and he's just having like a wonderful, glorious time, and his coat is blowing in the wind, and then you pan back to me, and I am just like basically pushing this bike up a hill, and I do not know why I am dying the way that I am. And we get all the way back home after that, and my brakes were just fully engaged the entire time.
That's sort of like a workout hack you did for yourself. It's like if you want to really get the most out of your ride, just leave the brakes on the whole time.
Yeah, I was doing like a version of Rock Lee.
Training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing like the Rock Lee weight training.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you so you're going like, wow, it's been a while since I rode a bike. Is it really this fucking hard? Like, or did you not notice at all?
It was like, I kept being like, I've been inside for a year because of the pandemic. So like, I must just be out of shape. And also like the bike was wobbly because also on the front tire, only one of the brakes was engaged. So I think it was turning me. And I was like, I guess technically I haven't forgotten how to ride a bike, but it does feel like I've forgotten how to, because nothing is working the way that I thought.
I see.
Yeah. It was
did you get the bike fixed?
I did. I went to the bike store, and the guy came out because you can't go inside because of COVID, and he came outside and he looked at my brake, and he used his hand to just move the entire brake over like a centimeter, and he was like, "Okay, it's fixed. You can go now." I was like, "Oh,
well, there you
thank
go.
you. I should have just
that's
done that
good.
before." But yeah, and then I came home and I played End Zone, which has been now my COVID game of choice.
End Zone. What is End Zone?
What is that?
End Zone is like I forget what they're called, but it's like kind of like a city builder where you start off with like your base, and then you have your people go like cut down trees, and then you get the resources. So you get like the wood supplies and the stone, and then you can make houses, and then you can make all these things, but it's for a post-apocalyptic world, and it's weirdly relaxing.
Nice.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at it right now. Is it like RTS-y or
yeah,
what?
I mean, raiders do come and attack you every so often, so you have to defend your city, but it's I used to play this game called Stronghold, if you know what Stronghold is.
Okay.
And it's kind of like that, but post-apocalyptic. That's another one that's like you build a medieval town, and then you have to build your defenses, but also you got to feed your people, so you got to make the farms and, all that.
Nice.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar, but I do like city builders. This looks cool.
Yeah.
Nathan, how about you? What have you been up to?
I play a lot of games.
Hold on, I gotta buzz someone in.
Okay.
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Yep. No.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. I deserve that.
There is no guarantee that I won't get a package during this recording. So
Yeah.
That's true. Sorry, please go ahead.
Then who will be laughing?
Because I didn't even give you the courtesy of giving you the heads up before this recording. I just
True.
sprung this on you.
Well, now we know the possibility exists for
That's true.
Anyone could receive a package at any time.
Now I'm genuinely like, oh fuck! I hope I. It could very easily happen.
I hope it's me again. I hope it's just I keep
Listeners,
getting...
take your bets. Who do you think's gonna have to get up from their chair next? It's gonna be a contest at this point.
Write it down. Anyone listening, write it down. No cheating, and then see if you were right at the end.
I love how someone would like try to cheat,
Yeah.
for the solo experience. Like, haha, I cheated against myself.
I won.
Anyway,
no,
sorry,
you guys don't understand. I won this one. I called it.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was Nulia. Yeah.
Several scribble outs.
Sorry. What games are you playing, man?
I mean, I'm a big fan of the tabletop RPG genre, Dungeons and Dragons, and also other similar sorts of games. And I found that, you know, in these times we're living in, the physical distance becomes less of an issue for scheduling those. So I've kept a game going with my group of friends that I was already playing with in New York, but I also have started games with people who live all over the place, and so that's been a fun way to get that human contact, scratch that that sort of gamer's itch, but also be sociable at the same time.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So for my sort of like socializing, I definitely noticed that comparatively between pre-COVID and post-COVID, like before people didn't really use Discord socially. I don't know about you guys, but for me it definitely wasn't the case. It wasn't like a normal use. But at once COVID started, then servers start popping up. Then it's like, okay, let's hang out online. And then, like you said, like stuff like for me, I'm running like a Pokemon RP, and that includes like my friend from Australia, a friend from Missouri. You know, like it's really nice. It's nice to have like a way to just hang out with. And a lot of people have just kind of met each other also who didn't know each other before.
Now, in the Pokemon RP, are you playing as trainers or the Pokemon themselves?
It is a game where they are trainers. And so it's essentially that we're starting in just like basic Pallet Town. They're going through like sort of like the gym challenge. Nice. But the gameplay is, since there's 5 of them, it is 5-on-5 battles. All the trainer battles are 5-on-5. And have you ever played Divinity?
Yeah, I love Divinity.
So in Divinity, you know, there's that system of like initiative, right? And you just have an order of like who's fastest. And so if you take out a Pokemon, they get taken out of the order. Like it's that sort of thing. So it's like turn-based, you know. Otherwise, a lot of the systems are. I took the existing formulas from the games and converted them to Excel formulas. So
this
damage output.
This is a homebrew that you've made.
Oh, I've entirely
That's so awesome. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. Yeah, I basically took for example, the move formula, and so you can literally input the power from the of the move. Their roll plus their attack or special attack, and bam, it'll give you exactly what the damage would do in the actual game.
Wow.
And there's formulas for all the stats, so like I can put in the actual base stats of any Pokemon, and bam, the wild Pokemon's all their stats are there. Level ups are done by like dice rolls. Yeah, I have actually little to no experience with D&D. But I wanted to do something where I was like, I want to make like something where it feels like you're playing Pokemon, but co-op. And also, we're not strictly following the thing. I'm throwing all sorts of curveballs here and there.
Nice.
Like characters that normally wouldn't appear, and new characters and things like that. Really just kind of seeing how it flows. Like, recently, as an off joke, we decided that there's a social media service called Tweedle in universe, and so now all of them had to make usernames for the Tweedle universe, and now they can tweet at each other. I guess I have to figure that out. I welcome all sorts of shenanigans and try to build in all the stupid shit as we go. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. I have found that during COVID. A lot of like sort of creative juices have been flowing from my end, and I don't know if you guys have heard of the trivia stuff that we've been doing at all. Have you caught wind of any of this?
Seen something. We also, I think Jacob and I rated you last night, but that was for something else.
You did. I was going to thank you. That we were doing a One Piece live reading for charity, and
that was
very
super cool.
generously rated us, and we got a lot of donations from that. So thank you very much. But,
yeah, no problem.
A friend of mine, for the listeners, Elvis, a friend of mine who's been on the podcast before, he developed this sort of like Mario trivia where all the questions are Mario themed, but there are power-ups. Like there are power-ups that like you roll power-ups in between each round, and they can do stuff like switch this person's answer or block this person from answering at the very basic level.
That rules.
Right? Very Mario Party.
Yeah.
Feeling.
Yeah, it's like Mario Party, and there's like bonus stars at the end of like most questions answered.
Yeah.
You get bonus points.
That's
so
awesome.
He came up with that, and then a bunch of us started running with our own version. So I did my own Mario one, but the one that really started taking off was I did Pokemon trivia, where at this point I have every move in the game has an effect. I have at this 841 moves are in it. Each round you roll each player gets a move. And if you use that move during a round, it does certain things. It gives you points, it will attack other players. If you use it during a round where it's super effective, because each round has a gym leader, you get double points, and there's also like a super effective bonus at the end. And also every round has its own little mini game, because I'm a crazy person. So it's just if that interests you at all, maybe we should
absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That sounds incredible. You've been designing games.
Yeah, really.
You've been making games. That's awesome.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even really consider it that way until someone was like, "Yeah, you're kind of just making your own little board games or tabletop games." I was like, "Huh, I guess I am. Huh, I guess that's interesting."
Do you find that when? So I'm sorry. You play?
No. Go ahead.
You play a lot of like board games and tabletop games and stuff like that. Do you, when you're like making games, are you worried? Because this is a trap that I fall into when I think of, say, playing with someone like a certain person here whose name begins with N-A and ends with Then. Where you're making a game and you're so worried that someone's gonna metagame the hell out of it and just like min-max everything.
Min-max? What?
Is that like something that you like get caught up in, or do you just like kind of trust that, you know, people can have fun with it the way that they will?
Oh, no. As someone who absolutely does the exact same thing, I'm very good at blocking that.
That's
because
good.
I write my stuff out to be like very specific wording on stuff to make sure.
What are the exploits here?
Yeah. Every now and then something will kick in, like something will get passed, and I'll be like, "That's funny. You can absolutely do it." But then I patch it. Like you're allowed to do this once because I didn't think of it. Yeah, But once you've done it, I'm absolutely changing the wording of this move right now. But
yeah, I've played enough games with Nathan. It's
really fun.
I've played enough games with Nathan and other people where someone has made a game like Caldwell, and Nathan will do something, and it'll just hear Caldwell go like, "You jerk, don't do it." But I have to let you do it, I guess, because it's cool.
Yeah, I think I did something like that in the episode of Draga you were a guest on. I don't
remember what it was, but do you remember what it was?
It was
I remember this.
It was, I had an item that like gave me, it was like take a penalty in order to get a benefit. So the penalty was draw with your offhand. The benefit was you get an extra experience point. The experience points you use to like level up your character, and Caldwell had come up with all of these abilities that you get depending on which stat you chose to level up. And so you had all of these the premise of this episode was you're a billionaire who is hunting our characters for sport and making us come up with ideas for inventions that you were going to then take credit for. Not based on any sort of
no,
living,
not at all.
Person in
absolutely
business practice. Not. And so the trap that I had fallen into was one that gave me that exact same penalty, the draw with your offhand. So I used my item just to get the bonus, since I was already suffering that penalty anyway. I was like, well, I'll just take the extra experience point. And it's just you just hear Caldwell like he just like breaks character. Just, okay, all right, yeah.
See, I love doing that. So when someone manages to pull it on me, I'm like, well played. I am genuinely like very smart move. It's funny because I have a friend Wilco, who's also been on the podcast before for listeners, but he and we are like I describe us as, you know, in Ocarina of Time there's Shadow Link and you're doing the same moves always against that guy and he's copying you. We have the same exact sort of board game prowess and like devious minds.
Oh, he's your Shadow Link. Or are you his
any
Shadow
game
Link?
Where there's like simultaneous play, like, all right, everybody pick what you're gonna do. We always do the same thing, right? We always like, bam, and like, there's a game called Welcome To. Have you ever heard of this?
I have not.
It's very good. It's a flip and draw game where you have like a neighborhood and you flip cards and there are 3 things you can choose from, and each one you write down a house number and deal with ability, and everyone picks them at once and just does them. And me and him will do like the same one 5 turns in a row. Like, I'm like, fucking Wilco, we'll write on the same house, do the same exact ability for the same exact reason, because we both know that's quote unquote the best one for our like play style.
Yeah.
And so I was doing another friend's trivia where or I've done this a couple of times where there'll be some kind of item, for example, and I'll be like, so based off this description, I don't have to say, quote unquote, or I'm just paraphrasing here, I don't have to spend all the points now, right? And the person's usually a little confused, like, no, why? And I go, no, don't worry. And then Wilco just like, you motherfucker. He's Australian. You motherfucker. Like, yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. I'm like, too bad. Like, just, so I totally welcome that. Like, because I'm always like, so I can do this, right? Like, I can save all of these points and use them all later, right? Or I can do this and use it, because technically, I basically, Julia, I am also probably your worst nightmare if it came to a player. But yeah, I welcome the challenge.
It's just like, my brain doesn't work that way. So every time, like, you know, I don't DM a lot. The only times I've DM'd is for the show Draw Detectives, which was my first endeavor into both writing a show and also DMing a game. And I was making it originally as a game, and I talked to a friend of ours who is a DM who has played with Nathan a bunch of times, and he was just basically like,
shout out to Brian.
Yeah, shout out to Brian. He was like, don't do mechanics. Don't just Nathan's in this. Don't make it complicated for yourself. Focus on the story.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not someone who like min-maxes anything. I'm just kind of there to like have a nice time. And then I'm always impressed by other people being clever. And I'm always just like I'm gonna go in and punch. Yay. Yeah. I punch.
I can respect that too. Like in Divinity, I'm absolutely the go in and punch guy. Yeah, but for board games and stuff, ooh, yeah. I think I just use too much of my brain for like work things. So when I'm playing a game, I just want that moment to just kind of hang out with my friends and play a thing to relax. Yeah. And then so like getting detail oriented always I'm again always so impressed, but the idea of thinking that hard about it makes me tired.
But I mean,
well, for Nathan and I, it's like it gives us strength.
I know. I wish I could.
you've crafted some of the most interesting characters I've ever seen in tabletop role playing. Like you made this pacifist wizard character who doesn't do any damage, but also is impossible to hit. Like you took all of these defensive illusion spells that like make you blurry and make copies of yourself, and you just soak up attacks because the enemies are baffled by you and trying to hit you and they can't, and it's great. It's like you're like a de facto tank as a wizard. I've never seen a character like that.
It's like it's because the part that I find fun is thinking of my character and like thinking about, the kind of class he would be and then why he would be that class, and then thinking about like the motivations of that character and then picking straight from there, not picking to like be useful, not thinking about the game whatsoever, because then I get to the game and I'm like, uh-oh, that's right, there's battles and things, and then I gotta get crafty with what I have. It's just because I'm so head empty.
You say that, but it's funny. But that in itself is like a strength, because if I think in a lot of games, like it can be very good to focus on one, like instead of spreading yourself too thin on like too many different things. Oftentimes in board games and stuff, this one of the strategies: go all in on one thing. Go all in, like this is my route, this is my thing, and that in itself can be a character. Like I admire that because I don't know if I could fully in a board game be like, I'm just gonna do it because the character would do it.
Right.
But I want this one because it's better for the game. Like I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
But some people I play with are like, oh yeah, this fits my character better. I'm gonna go with this. And honestly, thematically, I love that. I think that's like a really cool way to like play, because it shows that you're immersed in the experience.
Yeah. Like I don't, like it's fun for me to do a lot of damage, but at the end of the day, no one's remembering how many points of damage I did in a session. I'll never forget Julia making 1 million copies of her wizard and just like annoying the crap out of this big boss who could do so much damage with a hit but couldn't land a hit, and just like
that was a lot of fun.
Won the fight for us basically because we weren't taking damage.
I was walking around like the area of play, I think, at that point, and I just had so many copies of myself that no one could hit me, but I wasn't doing anything. I was just like distraction.
Yeah,
so that was fun.
It was so funny.
Games are fun.
Yeah,
it turns out
games are fun. Nathan, I know you're a pretty big board gamer. Anything lately you've been playing?
Well, I'm just gonna this isn't sponsored, but I'm just gonna shout out Board Game Arena because it is my
Wait. You play Board Game Arena?
Yeah. Board Game Arena has been my MVP quarantine subscription in terms of like amount of money spent to amount of hours of enjoyment gained. No streaming service comes close to Board Game Arena.
We need to absolutely play because
let's end the podcast now and just play some games.
I honestly like Julia, do you play Board Game Arena at all?
I don't. I know that I think Jacob was looking into it, but like he's on it. So you might want to ask him after this.
Yeah. Like Nathan, do you know what one of my goals is?
What's one of your goals?
For Board Game Arena? Play every game on Board Game Arena.
Nice.
Ooh. How many games is that?
I have 20 games left.
Wow. Okay, so
wow.
I have like a few games that I really like. You're way ahead of me in that regard. But
what have you really liked on the site?
I mean, I love Race for the Galaxy. I have one friend, Matt, who lives in Philly, and we'll just like that's just how we keep in touch. Is one of us will text the other one, "Hey, you got time for a race?" And then we'll just play Race for the Galaxy and shoot the shit. And Yeah, like I like that game multiplayer mode, but 2-player mode is really fun too. It's another one where it's like you have to try and predict what move your opponent's gonna make and try and get the most value out of the turn. And it's the same thing where like we'll just do the same ones as each other and just be like, God dang it, just double develop or something. Yeah.
I've played that 2-player, and I think I like it better 2-player as well.
You get to do two actions
the group is good
instead of one.
Yes. Now I like Race better, but have you played Res Arcana?
I have not played that one. No.
Same designer.
Cool.
It's his newest game. It's good. I think though you need to draft in it.
Okay.
If you don't draft, it doesn't work.
Gotcha.
But that or Roll for the Galaxy is fun, but I think Race is much more.
Yeah, I've tried Roll for the Galaxy too. I like it. I do like it. But yeah, I think I enjoy Race for the Galaxy a lot. I've Seven Wonders Duel, another great 2-player. Especially, I've never played that like in person. I only started playing it on Board Game Arena, which is great because it does all the math for you. It like tells you how much everything costs. With all your cost reduction stuff.
Yeah, I used to own that in person, and then I got rid of it, but it is very good on both that and Seven Wonders on the site.
Seven Wonders is a great I feel like anyone, even people who are like, I don't play board games, anyone can pick up Seven Wonders. It goes fast enough that like even if you don't know what you're doing, it's like, well, just play any card. And especially on Board Game Arena, because it'll tell you which ones you're allowed to play.
Right.
Again, not sponsored by Board Game Arena. I just love...
Every time I talk about it sounds like I'm sponsored. I wish they would sponsor me because I love it that much. But like, I know other people they play like Tabletop Simulator and other stuff. But for me, the automation, the interface of Board Game Arena has been invaluable. I have played... Let me look at my count. I have played about 700 different plays.
Nice.
I've played. There's only like I said, there's like 200, 300 games on the site. We've tried almost all of them. Some of them are real dog shit, but sometimes you find some real. It's honestly kind of fun to dive into a game where we have no idea if it's going to be any good or not. And we learn the rules, and sometimes it's like, wow, that was pretty good. And sometimes it's a torturous experience, but it's kind of funny. It's like, we play a game for like 2 hours, and at the end we go, that sucked. but it's kind of weirdly fun.
Have you played that one that's like a train robbery game?
Cold Express, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to win that game. I don't think it's a very good game, but I've played it with my friends so many times because it's so goofy, just like watching these little meeples shoot guns at each other on a train.
Yeah.
And
It's not, I wouldn't say it's not a good game. I think it's a good game, but it's not one you're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to win this. Because it's so based on luck, right?
I have no idea what I'm doing anytime I play that game.
Basically, Cold Express, for those of you listening, it's a game where you're like trying to program what you're going to do on a train robbery. And then, so it's like, okay, I'm going to move to this car, pick up an item, shoot this guy, then jump up to the top of the car. And of course, everyone else is also doing that.
Right.
So you're all gonna fuck each other up.
Right.
So like somebody's gonna be like, actually, I'm gonna shoot you, and you fall on the ground first, so you don't get to do your next move. Meanwhile, I'm picking up the chest. I run up, but someone shot their gun up there. It's like this weird, like you're trying to predict what everybody else is doing, but of course it's impossible to do that.
Yeah.
Wild.
And yeah, it's fun. But it's very, very, very goofy. Yo, if you're on Board Game Arena, we should talk. Let's talk.
Let's talk after
play some games.
Let's talk after the show. Get some games going.
I use Tabletop Simulator.
Do you actually?
I used it a few times because Jacob and a few of his friends from back home wanted to play some games, and most of we were playing one game, and I don't even remember what it was, but I wound up just drawing. Oh, we were playing Shards of Infinity on it, which then we just bought Shards of Infinity because it's automated. Like you said, it's just nice to have that automation, which Tabletop Simulator doesn't have, at least for that. so I wound up drawing on the board a lot, because this is what happens to me. But then we played one game that no one knew what they were doing the entire time we were playing it. And then if the player run out of time, you get kicked out and your character gets taken over by a robot. So you can't watch your friends play the rest of the game.
Wow.
It brings you back to the main menu.
What was this game called?
Little World, I believe it is. Oh, small.
What?
Small World.
Small World.
Small World. Oh, wait. Why did you get kicked out of the game?
It just kicked me out because I was too slow.
Because you were too slow.
My timer ran out.
Okay.
I had no idea what I was doing.
That's one that I just have
game.
like an app for, I think. There's like a mobile app you can play.
Yeah, I used to own that one in person, and yeah, there's not like a rule in the actual game where it's like you lost, get the fuck out of here.
Time limit. It's Small World.
Go sit in the bathroom until we're done.
I was like reading the rules.
Tabletop Simulator just being spiteful.
I was reading the rules, and while I was reading the rules, it was like, your time has ended, you're done. And then I exited out of like the little message, and it was just like, do you want to start a new game? And it was at the main menu. Everyone else was still playing.
Wow.
I was so
fascinating.
Mad. It was ridiculous.
I will say one thing Board Game Arena does allow you to do is it lets you turn off the time limit.
Yes.
Which is good.
Recommended only for when you're playing with friends, but
yes.
they put like a little
they'll be
reminder.
like, if you play this, technically it could go for 5 years if you don't
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, sure. But I'm playing with people that aren't going to just fuck me over by not moving. But yeah, no, that's been... Board Game Arena has been a big lifesaver for sure.
My go-to move in Tabletop Simulator is just to click on a piece and keep making it bigger. Just like slowly make it bigger and bigger until it's far too big.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah,
I keep flicking cards. That's my move.
Flick stuff. Tabletop Simulator. I don't think I've ever successfully played a game in Tabletop Simulator. It's just a little sandbox that you can mess around with the physics. But if you actually want to play board games, Board Game Arena is pretty good for that.
Now, at this point, I like to give the guests an opportunity to either bring up a topic or ask me a question or anything, or ask the group a question, whatever you choose. So, Julia, we'll start with you. Is there any topic you want to bring up, or a question for me, or a question for the group? If not, don't worry about it. We can move on to Nathan. No pressure.
Well, the only question I can think of course, because I was just outside going on a walk, and thinking about the first things that I'm going to do once I'm fully vaccinated.
Ooh.
What's everyone's first thing that they're going to do when they're fully vaccinated?
First thing? Very first thing. Okay.
Or what's your first post-COVID thing?
So in terms of actually getting to leave my home, it'll probably just be going to a restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't care what restaurant. Yeah. Just go to a restaurant. Even if it's just me and Anne-Marie, let's just go have a meal in a restaurant. That'll be I'm going to feel like a king.
Yes.
A waiter. I get to wait for my food in this cozy, is this how earthlings get to live? It's really going to feel like that to me.
Oh, a second water? Yes, I will take that. Thank you.
Oh, will you bring a water for me? Oh, my.
Excellent. Yes.
I truly am the monarch here. That's going to feel so nice. So that's going to be my thing outside of the home.
Just the idea of having dishes that I'm not responsible for cleaning.
Oh my god.
Yes, that's true.
Is so wild to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man.
And then another thing, I'm the first. I've been, because I got my first. Have you guys gotten your first or second shots yet?
Yes, my first.
I just got my first one yesterday. In fact.
Ooh.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got my first shot not that long ago, and I'm keeping track of like which of my local friends have also gotten their first, and we're all
Mm-hmm.
kind of like watching the sand tick down to our days of freedom. Because I, very very unsurprisingly, want to do a board game thing as soon as
Yes.
like I cannot imagine like the idea of playing a board game with 3 other people in person.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a dream. So that's gonna be my like in-home thing, like social event.
Right.
As soon as I'm able.
Everyone eating out of the collective bowl of snacks together while you're playing board games. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Weirdly been missing that.
The very last time I had people over at my apartment before quarantine started, way back when, was a D&D sesh. So I feel like it would be fitting if the first one that I have is another D&D or gaming time.
A welcome home.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Julia? What's your thing?
So okay, New York closed on my birthday. Last year.
Oh no.
It was exactly my birthday, and New York was like, we're shutting everything down. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But like a week before then, I had chopped my hair off. I got it like cut really, really short. And then when COVID hit, I told myself that I wouldn't get my hair cut until things had kind of calmed down. And then I heard about the vaccines. So I told myself I would hold off until I was fully vaccinated. So the very first thing I'm going to do once the 2 weeks past the second shot hits is I'm going to get a haircut. And then I'm going to have like the whole Drawfee crew over. We keep saying that we're going to have a movie night.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to have the whole Drawfee crew over so we can watch movies. And that's what I've been looking forward to.
Movie you want to watch first?
Promare?
I keep joking. Well, yeah, Karina keeps saying Promare, and Jacob and Karina keep saying Promare. I keep joking that it should be a Fast and Furious.
Say Promare. Oh yeah, it should be a Fast and Furious. That was the last movie we watched together at your place, right? Was one of the, it was the which one was it? 7?
I think it was 7.
It was the one with Jason Statham. The first one with Jason Statham.
Yeah, I think that's
so
7.
You saw Fast and Furious 7. So it does seem fitting to
so
go
we need
right
to
into 8,
watch
right?
The Fate of the Furious.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen these movies, but from what I understand, they're really about family, right?
Yeah.
So
they're about family.
Seems like it'd be fitting.
They're about
families
family
back together.
And cars and Coronas, which
that's true.
That's a little on the nose, I guess, but
I've also been planning I've been planning small trips. So I'm excited to go do that, to see someplace other than my neighborhood. So
anywhere in particular you'd like to go?
I really want to go to Vermont just because I love the state of Vermont, and it's also very outdoors, which is opposite of what I've been experiencing the past year.
Yeah.
Just like weekend trips even.
Fun fact, the person that I buzzed in earlier is from Vermont.
Hell yeah.
So that ties back.
That's a nice callback there.
It's a nice little callback for anyone who's remembers that little thing that happened.
Hey, if you stuck around to this part, hey, we got you.
It's a little treat for you.
Thanks for listening. For trips for me, I really want to do like a Vegas trip because it's very close by here. And we've been doing a lot of talk about. Are you familiar with glamping?
Yes.
Like we want to get get a group of people, go to a luxurious Airbnb, but split the cost in I don't know, just fucking Joshua Tree or somewhere, and just fucking relax for a weekend.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That would be so good.
I had a dumb aside about glamping, but fun fact about me and my family is that my parents are survivalist campers. So until I turned, I think it was 16, all of my vacations every year were survivalist trips.
Okay.
And so I had met someone while I was in college who kept telling me that, she did all these rough and tumble like camping trips every year with her family. And I was like, oh, finally someone who understands what it's like to be in the middle of the woods with, very little and having to survive for a couple of weeks. And no, she absolutely meant glamping. She like had this luxurious RV that folded out. Like the rooms came out the sides. I was like, you betrayed me. Like it was like the greatest feeling of betrayal I've ever had in my life.
It's like that scene in a Goofy movie with Pete's RV. Are you familiar? Where like just,
yes.
Just there's like a pool or whatever. Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
So survivalist camping. Did you enjoy it as a kid?
Some of them, yes. I'd like to say most of them I enjoyed. Because it was very, it does a lot for your self-confidence, I think, because you're like, oh, I can do this. Like, it teaches you a lot about yourself. And then I camped in the desert during a heat wave in the middle of the summer, and that was like the first time where I was like, oh, I could not have experienced this in my life. Yeah. That would have been cool.
Wouldn't have minded.
Got it.
Skipping that one.
and for since I'm not super familiar with hardcore survivalist camping, like how hardcore are we talking? Like you go to like a forest and what do you bring?
Well, we all have our knife. If we were living it up, we would bring a small tent. That was nice.
Okay.
We had this little pot that we would bring.
Yeah.
Matches, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you have to
canteen? No canteen?
Yeah, we would sometimes bring our water bottle, but a lot of it would be water that we would collect from rain, and then you would filter it, or you would take it from rivers and lakes, and then you would, boil it or filter it.
Could have had your own reality show.
It wouldn't have been very interesting, honestly.
Well, that's
just a lot of sitting.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of it is the editing, probably.
Yeah, we would edit it to make it interesting.
Yeah.
So you said if you were living it up, you would have a tent. So would you sometimes have to make like a shelter, like with like I'm gonna sound like a real moron. Sticks and leaves. I don't like.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean,
what do you?
Yeah, it's like you joke that it's you're gonna sound like a moron, but that's literally what it is. Like survivalist camping is just the basics. It's like rocks and stick and whatever you find, and big leaf. Don't lay on ground or else the spiders will get you. Or groundwater.
Yeah, in high school, I took a quote-unquote outdoor survival class, which really meant going into the forest behind the school and making, like, wood structures and learning how to, like, start fires and stuff. And it was fun, actually. I had a good time, but
nice.
If I had to go do it now, I would probably die in the woods. Now, do your parents still do this regularly?
The last time my dad did it, I mean, my dad does it. My mom doesn't because she got her knee replaced, so she has a hard time walking on one of her legs.
I see.
But my dad tore some of the tendons and muscles in his shoulders, in both shoulders, when he fell while going camping. So he's taken a break, but I think he's going to Montana soon for like 2 weeks by himself. So he still does it, just to a lesser degree. He does a lot of winter survivalist camping now.
And like, where did that sort of interest stem from? Was it from like their parents, or did they just both happen to have this common interest, or what's the history behind that? I'm just so. Because I don't hear a lot about like regular like survivalist camping folks.
My mom is from Queens, New York, so it's not she didn't like grow up with it. But my dad was in the French military, So he learned a bunch of skills there. And also he grew up doing a lot of camping trips with his father because his father just kind of had it ingrained into him from World War II France because he is from Normandy. So he had kind of these like survival skills in him that he had to learn. And then he passed it on to my dad. And my dad just really enjoyed doing that and liked the physical challenge. And then when my brother and I were kids, my parents were not very like well off with money. So the cheapest trips were when you get to go to the middle of nowhere with nothing.
Yeah, cost effective.
So that was like, and then it's cost effective and it's you and your kids and you get to teach them things and it's quality one-on-one time. So it kind of just like became a thing. And then they just kept doing it because it was interesting and fun, and my mom really enjoyed being outside and learning these things. So
no, I have a couple of friends who are very outdoorsy as well, but and also know a lot about like a lot of survival skills as well. So it's always interesting to me because I am like the most the laziest person imaginable. So I'm like, oh god, I don't know how I do, but I do think it's
save your
cool.
energy for strategizing in games.
Exactly. Yes.
You're like me.
Yes.
I'm the least.
We gotta save stuff to do the best moves in a game. Yeah.
People always like to ask like which Drawfee host would be the first to die in a zombie apocalypse. I'm like, it's me. It's me. I know. Julia's living the longest. I'm gonna like. If everything goes to hell, like I'm making my way to Julia and just gonna try and like stick with you as long as I can before my body gives out. But
I got you. I'm out of shape now. Remember, I've been
no, you just
slowed.
got in shape because of the bike. The bike
That's
workout.
True.
Yeah, you're getting back into prime survival position. Now, Nathan,
yes.
How about you? Is there a topic or question that you would like to bring up or ask?
Ooh, well, first let me say that like the one thing that I do have planned already for when I'm fully vaccinated is I'm taking a road trip down to see my parents in person, who I have not seen since the quarantine started. They live in a DC suburb of Bethesda, and a nice little trip down there. A topic, man. I had all this time to think of one too.
Yeah,
I feel like we already got to talk about games, and that's like what I'm
all about.
What I'm all about. It's.
I mean, we can keep talking about games, really.
Yeah, no, we can talk. Yeah, there's no pressure. If you can think of something, cool. If not, we can easily keep talking about games or.
We could talk about content. We're all content creators.
That's
sure.
true.
You want to talk about content? Like
how has making content been for you in quarantine? Like for me, I'll say that like it's been, you know, mixed in that it's been nice to have something to do that people seem to enjoy.
Sure.
But it's also that thing of like, you know, trying to. I think our show is pretty light, sort of light entertainment, lighthearted, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to bring that levity when stuff feels bad.
Sure.
So I don't know if you have that same sort of experience or how that's been for you.
Because you also said the creative juices have been flowing, right? So
right, yeah, you've been making games and stuff.
But see, it's funny enough. That's been for not anyone else. That's just for me. I think for me, what I've been discovering is just the joy of just making shit for myself and my friends, and that's it.
That's beautiful.
Because whenever I mention stuff like, "Oh, I'm doing a Pokemon RP," they're like, "When are you gonna stream it?" And I'm like, "Never."
Like, I need this for me.
That like.
Me.
Yeah, Julia, you like posted a picture. You made a character in Hero Forge of a character you were playing in just like a little friendly game that we were doing, and so many of the comments were like, when are we gonna get to see the stream of this? You know, when's the video of this? And it's like, it's nice that people are interested to see, but also sometimes I'm like, you don't actually want to watch me play a game the way I like when I'm just playing to relax. It's different. It's a completely different thing.
Sure.
When I'm not trying to entertain anyone.
Yeah, there. No matter what, even though obviously I try to be as very natural as I can, you still have to be aware of that there's an audience watching, and there's going to be different levels of on, right? Where yes, I cannot literally just sit in silence, like
yeah.
But when you're playing a game with your friends, if you're thinking and you're just hanging out, you don't have to be like, oh wait, we should probably think about that as this is entertaining for the audience or whatever.
Just like running to grab snacks between. It's like, oh, it's not my turn in combat, I'm gonna go grab a snack. I'm not doing that on streams.
Exactly. I find for me with, let's say, like my online output, a big help was during the end of last year, I hired an editor for the first time. Up to this point, I'd been editing all by myself, and then I was like, it'd be a lot easier if someone else did this, and so I hired my friend Jay, who's listening to this. Thank you, Jay.
Editing this right now.
Thank you, Jay.
Shout out to Jay.
Yeah, he's editing it right now. Wow. Yeah, he's that good. No,
thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. And he's been a tremendous help. Like he with that, because I hate editing, and so for me, it takes a big load off my shoulders. Of okay, I can just focus on just kind of making the stuff, and he will make it look good and polished for the end result, and we're on the same page of how we want it to be. So that has made my sort of the output of videos way faster, because before it was definitely like you were saying, oh, like how do you do stuff if you're not in the mood? The answer before having an editor was don't. I just did it. I was like, I don't fucking feel like it today. Whatever. But now since there's less pressure,
right?
It's like, okay, I can at least like record a video and send the footage off, because
find something in here that's good. Yeah, get it to the editor.
And so it's because of that. I've become more productive in that, and so, and also my content has been very always just whatever the fuck I feel like doing, so nothing.
I love that about it.
I think that's my favorite part about your content, is that I never know what I'm gonna get.
It's just like a big box of lazily strewn chocolates of whatever I feel like putting in the box that day.
But it's all good, because it's all stuff that you're like interested in,
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, because I really only will keep doing this if I enjoy doing it, and so that's why it has to be this way of what I want to do, and I don't care if all you want is one thing. That's not all I'm gonna do, but I think it's been good in that respect. And I think, but also what's been really good for me is because early, well, not just early quarantine, but definitely early quarantine, there was definitely a really depressing, I was very depressed for like a chunk of it, because, I was so used to like seeing people, in person and busy socially.
Adjustment.
It was a very, and so it became this thing where, but now, in comparison, I have a pretty structured week of like, not only my work days have become more structured, because now that I have someone, who's working for me, I'm more like, I gotta send him more stuff to edit, and also it's good for the channel. But then in my evenings, I've got like, we have like an anime night where we like a group of us will just bring an anime and we watch an episode of a show each week, like 5 or 6 shows in a row, or the Pokemon RP or things like that. Things that have been
what show switching gear. That's another topic I could have brought up. What anime are you watching these days?
So let me pull up the current docket because
Jacob and I are working on a few. So
oh yeah, I would love to hear that. Yeah, let me pull up my list and then I want to hear what you guys are watching. Because we've actually gone through a lot of shows, but what's currently quote unquote airing on our customized Toonami block is my show that I brought was Sound Euphonium. So we're on the second season of that. I don't know if you two have seen that one.
I have not.
I have not.
I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. It's about a high school orchestral band. And it's Kyoto Animation, who I love.
Ooh, love Kyoto.
Yeah, well, if you love Kyoto, I think this is easily one of my favorites, if not my favorite thing they've ever done.
Nice.
It's beautiful. The characters are great. You know, I think a lot of people had not seen it, and so they weren't sure what to expect. Because some people look at it and go, "Oh, what cutesy anime girls? I don't care." Or they go, "Oh, this seems kind of slow. I don't care." Or a combination of both. But it's got a lot more like depth to it. It's got a lot of depth, actually. Very great character drama and stuff.
That's awesome.
And there was a, because since we only watch one episode a week, there was an episode that ended on like a cliffhanger, and everyone was so into it and so invested. The next week was like, we called it Super Bowl Sound Day, because everyone was like, because everyone was trying to guess what was gonna happen, because there were like, it was that like we were like, okay, who thinks scenario A is gonna happen, scenario B, scenario C, scenario D, and everyone's all right, take your bets, and we're like, and all of us were just, I already knew obviously, but I was like, okay, these are the bets, let's see what happens, and it was great. So watch Sound Euphonium, it's fucking great. And also listeners, watch it.
I'm writing it down.
Sound Euphonium is on the docket. Nichijou, which I had actually never sat down and seen all of. We're almost done with that.
Where is that? Where can you watch that?
Nichijou.
I've wanted
it's on
to watch
Funimation,
that
right?
after seeing the clips.
I believe it's on Funimation.
Gotta get a Verve account.
Yeah, it's on Funimation. Nichijou, Space Dandy, which I'd never seen actually until this point. Fooly Cooley, which I'd actually had never seen. I had seen part of it.
The new ones or the
original? the original Fooly Cooley.
Because I never watched the new ones, but yeah, the original is like every time I watch it, I like you pick up more stuff because it's like they don't tell you. I guess the story's there, but they're not telling you the story. It's like just how it's affecting the people in it. I don't know. I didn't get it the first time I watched it, and then I rewatched it. I was like, oh, I see.
Okay, interesting. Since this is my first viewing, I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat as you in your first viewing, but I am enjoying it. And the last two shows are Sarazanmai. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Sarazanmai is great. It's about, oh boy, like at the base level, it's like three boys who turn into kappas, and then they like engage with these kappa demons and pull. Oh boy, they pull these orbs out of their ass. Listen, it's really good.
That's a twist I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, no, it's very very good, and also really good gay representation for the characters as well.
Nice.
Like it's
cool.
very very good. It's
hell yeah.
It's Mappa is the studio. It's beautiful animation. I think a lot of people missed this one, but Sarazanmai I'm really enjoying.
Okay.
And then the final one, which we just started, and this one's like a wild one. I had never heard of the show. Garakuta, Mr. Stain on Dark Alley, which we watched the first 4 of. They're like 8-minute episodes. And it is this CG Japanese cartoon. If you've Googled it by now, you'll see what I mean on how bizarre it looks. Mr. Stain on Dark Alley. It's like these... like they don't talk and they're like just these surreal shorts of this guy and a cat.
Yeah, I've looked it up. It is
Mr. Stain on Junk Alley.
Oh, Junk Alley. Mr. Stain on Junk Alley. Yes.
It is wild.
It's wild. It
looks like some unrendered, like, yeah.
Yeah. It's very funny.
Wow.
It's very funny and very bizarre. I had no idea what to expect based off the look of it, but so far anyway, it's very enjoyable. It's fucking bizarre and strange, and I'm enjoying it. Nice. Now, so that's our lineup. Now, how about you guys? What anime have you been watching recently?
Let's see. What have I been watching? I mean, they just started putting new eps of My Hero. So I'm getting back into My Hero Academia. And then I guess not recently, but it stuck with me. The JoJo Part 4.
Oh, okay.
Or not Part 4, Part 5, excuse me. Part 4 is great also, but Part 5 was the most recent one, where it's the like gangster adventure.
Yeah.
In Italy. Oh man, that one's such a treat. I love that show so much. And then I haven't finished it, but I've been watching That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime.
Okay.
And I enjoy that one quite a bit as well.
Cool. How about you, Julia?
Jacob and I are working on a bunch of different shows, but we're working on Other Side Picnic.
Is that the one? Is that the one with the two girls?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah, I started it and I didn't know what I was getting into, because I mean, just no one told me. No one told me. Jacob was just like, I heard this is good, let's watch it. Yeah. But have you seen Made in Abyss?
I have seen Made in Abyss, yes.
Made in Abyss is one of my favorites, just on mood. And there's a little bit of Other Side Picnic that reminds me of it, in that there's like an undercurrent of something like insidious happening.
I see.
Which is nice. We're also watching Wonder Egg.
Yeah, I hear that's great. I do need to watch that.
It's super weird. That's another one that you should go into not knowing anything. And then of course we're watching the big ins that are coming out now, but Horimiya is very cute. That's been a lot of fun. I read it and then we've been watching it, and they've done a really good job on translating it. And Jujutsu Kaisen, which I didn't think I would like, but they're really
animation. I haven't seen it yet, but
that animation
though, gorgeous. Yeah.
I have weird problems with shonen anime. I think because I've been watching anime for like such a long time that there are some tropes that really annoy me now. As someone who is now 32, and
what are
I'm
some
just
of those
like,
tropes?
I hate a lot of like, you know, the age-old women tropes of woman on screen, boobies.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Fire Force because they had two really good female characters, and then they came up with Booby Cat Lady.
I see.
And her whole thing is all of the tropes, like she always trips into the room and it's boobies first into someone's face, and you know, her power requires her clothes to be burnt off entirely, and stuff like that, or like, you know, this female character is really strong. The man has arrived, so she is going to become a wife and hostage. So I think when I started Jujutsu Kaisen, I was expecting that, and it hasn't. It's done a hard pivot away from that. Even it's like, here's just a nice, well-rounded cast of characters that are not very tropey. Like, the shonen itself isn't doing anything new. It's still like, boy is strong for no reason, and he has magical powers now, kind of. And it's, you know, they do that sort of shonen thing, but now that they're not doing the kind of like, you know, what I categorize as like the kind of like tropes.
Yeah.
It's I get to enjoy these kinds of things without feeling like I have to put a precursor if I showed a non-anime friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just fun. It's a fun punch 'em up show.
I'm in total agreement with you. I fucking hate weird fan service shit. So
yeah, it just feels weird. It ruins like a really good show.
That's my main barrier for like recommending Space Dandy to people, because I really like all the cool like parallel universe or spoilers, all the cool stuff they do with like sci-fi, but yeah, there's just a lot of that right at the start.
Yeah.
There's literally a bar they go to called Boobies that's shaped like boobies.
I love that.
That's kind of fun though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like so in your face that it's funny.
Right. Yeah, it's like how like Mineta is like the worst part of My Hero.
Yeah, I stopped watching My Hero because of both Mineta. I couldn't get over because they kept being like, isn't it great that we don't have tropes like this? And then they have that character that does tropes like that. And then also the main girl in that show is, I mean, where I stopped, she was just kind of becoming like, I have to prove myself to the main guy because I love him. And that's my character.
Yeah.
So I kind of took a pause from there. I will say also that despite my complaints about these things, I absolutely loved Kill La Kill, and I cannot explain why. I think it's because it's like
Kill, but sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's the whole show is about clothes. It's about clothes versus nudity, and that is essentially the plot of the show, and I love it, and I think it's because the whole show is a joke on those classic like, why do I have to be dressed in a bikini to be this powerful? And the show just goes, that's the thing, and then they kind of turn it at the end. I don't know, they do something to it that makes it somehow okay to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is also going to depend on like either intent of like why they're doing it. If it's just for straight up just horny, it's like, okay, well, come on. You know, if they can be at least clever with it or have some sort of, you know, subversion or something, then yeah, I can see. Yeah, I also agree with you though. Like that shit's annoying. Now I guess to kind of sort of finish off here, I kind of talked about the content thing, but for you guys with Drawfee, how has it been for you, like this, like let's say this past year?
It's been a wild time. It's been like the most change that that we've had to go through, sort of as a brand, as an entity, as a company.
Because we went independent in the middle of COVID.
Yes,
right.
I remember that.
Yeah, we lost our jobs right before the pandemic started, and so we recorded I think a few episodes in person and then had to start recording remotely, which was not something we expected because we were all, you know, located in the same place. We thought we would just be able to record in person. So recording remotely has been like its own thing.
Yeah.
Just like having to work out the challenges of timing who's talking when and like getting the balance right. But I will say that just like the fan support has been really nice through all of this. Just knowing that people seem to enjoy what we're doing. And that's a big serotonin booster, just to see people saying nice things about the stuff you make.
And because you managed to retain everything, right? After that's
we lucked out in that regard.
I'm
working.
really glad to hear that
deal.
Yeah, because I saw all that happen and I was like, shit. But then you guys bounced back like almost. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it was a ton of stress and hard work on your part, but I was just glad to see. Oh no, they're gonna be good. Like, because and it really when I see your fans, you do have a very, at least from my perspective, very passionate, positive fan base, and I think that it just goes to show just the good work you put out, and I don't know, it couldn't happen to a nicer, more talented group of folks, in my opinion. So
thank you very
glad
much.
that things are going good for you guys. The police, however, do not feel that way, and they're here to they're here to take you. No,
this is like a constant struggle. Is that I live 2 blocks away from a hospital, so there's always just some sort of siren nearby.
No, I get sirens
and that gets
nearby.
annoying for recording.
I get sirens nearby here too sometimes. There's also like trains. I get all sorts of fun sounds. Yeah, so I feel your pain.
The sounds of the city.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah, Julia, I don't know if you have more to add on that, because you've really like stepped up and were sort of on point for you've become Drawfee's fearless leader through like the layoffs, through forming an independent venture, and like it's been, as someone who's gotten to work with you through that, it's been really nice having you as sort of the buck stops here person with regards to all of that.
Well, thank you. It's I think so. I joke about this sometimes, but my stress stems from not being able to like do something about a situation. So, when we were making the channel independent and we were doing all the things to set up, I just like had to get in there to know that we were working towards something and that something was happening. Like that's how I manage stress, is by just taking action and doing something about the thing, so that I know that it's like set up for later, or it's set up so that, so when we launch or when it's time, we can just jump right in. We had launched in July, I believe, and I had things set up.
Our independence
March.
was very close to actual Independence Day. So
That's true, yeah.
Worked out.
But yeah, I had set things up in March, so it's that's just kind of how I function. So I think, and also I saw us going independent as an opportunity to make everything exactly the way that we wanted.
Yeah.
And our team is very soft. Like I think, we're very like gentle creatives. So I think, we're kind of good with just going with the flow, which is awesome. But then I think that sometimes it can morph the things that you really want to be working on. So I wanted to make sure that we had someone in the front that was just like, no, we're not doing that. Like, let's just do the thing that we want to be doing.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
It's been nice having you be that person.
I've become the team's bully against other, but I think like creative wise, I've like stepped down from kind of the creative mindset. I mean, I'm still working on like season 2 of Drawtectives, and I'm still working on that, and that's where my like creative energy has been flowing. But I think it's been interesting to watch like Nathan or Karina or Jacob see how they've been changing kind of creatively in this weird COVID time, because there was definitely a period where I think, COVID was, getting everyone down because everything was so different and the news was terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be funny when everything is such a downer.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then, we started taking like little victories, and then I think like everything was such a bummer for a while that I think a few members of the team were like, you know what, I have this thing that I can control, that I can have fun with, and I'm going to have fun with it. And it's been really fun to watch everyone just kind of like grab onto the channel and say like, this is where I'm going to put my energy and attention, and kind of make it be what I want it to be. And I know that sometimes it's really hard to work on the channel again when you are in this like bummer headspace, but when the team is on, it's like you can really see the excitement. And I think also, to go with what you were saying earlier, it's nice to have like the schedule.
Yeah.
You know, like we have something to do every week, you know, so it's like, we have to come out with this content. Night. Yeah. We know, so it's like I have to get out of bed Tuesdays. To work on this thing. Yeah, exactly. So it's been nice. It's been helpful.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. Like like I said before, like you guys rock and deserve all the success you're getting, and I'm glad also because you're right, there does need to be someone who has to kind of like be firm, right? Be like, you know, I often find myself being that person in a lot of cases, and I do recognize that it's not always easy, but it's important, and so I'm glad to see that things have been going well for you guys, and I wish you continued success, and also once this is over, the COVID, I'm sure it's just gonna like it'll only help things, you know, like getting to be in person. So
excited to get to record in person. It's gonna feel like taking the weights off.
Yeah, and also to do events. Like I want to go to events. I can't believe I'm saying that because they used to stress me the hell out, but like. I want to be in a sweaty room full of people.
That's kind of how I feel about
joke
conventions.
About this.
Yeah.
We joke about this, but it's just like the happiest you're ever going to see content creators to be around people is right after COVID. It's just like the con circuit right after it's safe to do is just going to be like, come tell me a weird non sequitur.
You want me to draw what? Yeah, okay, let's go. That's kind of inappropriate, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be this close to another living soul. So
yeah.
So take advantage of that, everybody.
Take advantage of that. Yeah.
Take advantage of our
we'll see how long
goodwill.
This lasts.
Yeah, that spark of just desperation to be around others. Yeah. Well, on that note,
I should also say.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry, just one last thing. With talking about being the bully, jokingly sometimes if I'm having a meeting with another company, I put on a suit so that makes me feel more like less of a soft creative and more of like I'm wearing a suit. This is business.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been like kind of thinking of it.
You do rock a suit really good.
Thank you.
Honestly,
it's
that's
my
badass.
Headspace suit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Now I feel like we could keep talking for like 2 more hours, but I think we will wrap it up here. But why don't we? Where can people find you guys? Start with you. We'll start with you, Julia.
You can find me on Twitter at Julia LEPETIT, and you can find me on Instagram, Julia LEPETIT Illustrates. And of course, you can find me at the Drawfee Show on
Secret
YouTube.
Sleepover Society.
Oh, and Secret Sleep. I do. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for being better at plugging my stuff than I am. Jacob and I.
Good Twitch channel.
we stream video games on Wednesdays and Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Secret Sleepover Society.
All right, and Nathan.
And I'm at Nathan YAFFE. The word at Nathan YAFFE, because I never expected to have to plug my Twitter, and I thought it was a big joke when I made it, and now this is what I'm stuck with. Watch Drawfee on YouTube. You can support Drawfee on Patreon. We also have the Drawfee Twitch, and then I have my own personal Twitch called Nathan's Other Show, all one word, where I play video games and hang out with my friends and my brother Steven. And that's on Wednesday evenings, usually around 6-ish is when I stream.
All right. Well, go check them out. And again, check out Drawfee because Drawfee rules. And thank you guys for joining me. This has been fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Absolutely. This was a blast.
And let's be friends on Board Game.
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's play some games.
Let's play some games. Yeah.
I'll try.
Oh yeah, listen.
I'm gonna get crushed by you two, but I'll try.
I'm always looking for more people to play games.
You'll run interference. You'll make sure I don't win.
Oh, that is my number
Smash
one
Bros strategy. Yeah.
Yep, that is my number one task. Is always to mess up Nathan.
Just use your clones to block his victory.